Hi, my name's Sarah from Peerless Designs, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make some really great book art using the patterns on my book folding CD-ROMs. So to get started, all we're going to need to do is print off a pattern. Just choose the one you want and then print it out. If you have a look at the bottom, it's going to tell you how many folds the pattern is going to take, and it will also tell you how many pages, numbered pages, you'll need in your book to complete the pattern. So for this particular book it needs 452 numbered pages to be able to complete the pattern. So if you have a look in your book, don't forget that each page has two numbers. There's a number on the front of the page and a number on the back of the page. So check your book, make sure it's got at least that amount of pages, and this one's fine, it's got plenty, so I know there's going to be enough. With my patterns, you always start in the middle of the book. So if you check how many pages your book's got, halve it, and then that'll mean you know where to start. Okay, so if we look at the pattern, we'll see that there's a center line on the pattern. This is where we're going to start. So we're always working from left to right with all the patterns. We're going to work on half at a time. So the first thing we're going to do is fold it in about a quarter of the way. This is just so that we can slide the pattern in behind the pages much easier. It's not going to stop it from sliding in. Obviously, if you're working on the whole page and we're working on this side of the pattern, this bit's not going to slide through because of the spine of the book. So just take it in about a quarter of the way. And once the pattern resists, we'll just fold it again so we can carry on. Okay, so if we look at our pattern, we'll see that we've got a series of lines and they're all numbered. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 and number 5 on this particular pattern. They all represent a fold and a page. So we're going to start with number 1 on our pattern. You'll notice at the top we've got a row of green arrows. This means that the top of the pattern must always line up with the top of the book. That way everything is going to make sure that it's all in line. You'll need an elastic band because that will hold everything out the way for you when you're folding the pages. You'll also need a ruler and a pencil and a bone folder, or something that you can use to crease the pages, because it's much better if there's a nice crisp crease. Okay, so we're ready to start. What we're going to do is take 4 or 5 of our pages and then line up your pattern at the top and tuck it in behind those 4 pages. We're going to line it up with number 1. You'll notice that number 1, number 2, 3, 4 and 5, they're all in the line, but the only one we're going to mark at the moment is number 1. So take our pencil, we're going to make a small mark at the beginning and the end of the line. So 1 mark at the beginning and 1 mark at the end, and we're going to cross it off. You must remember to cross it off so you always know where you're up to. Okay, so we're going to fold the page out the way. Now you'll notice that the next one, number 2, is just a bit further down. So again, mark the beginning and the end, cross it off. Then fold our page again. Down to the next one, number 3, beginning, end, cross off. Then fold our page, and again number 4, beginning, end, cross off. Fold our page again, and number 5, down at the bottom, beginning, end and cross off. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead. You can, at this point, you can fold those pages. You can do them one at a time. You can mark 1, fold it, mark 2, fold it. But because, especially with there being more than 1 page on each line, it's easier once you've got it lined up at the top just to mark all the pages off in that particular line. And I'm going to mark a few off at the same time. So again, just take a few pages, tuck it underneath and line it up at the top. This time we're going to slide the pattern in to number 6. Okay, so again,
beginning, end, cross off. Fold the page, beginning, end, cross off. Beginning, end, cross off. So it's really simple, the marking. I've done all the hard work for you. I've done all the measuring. There's no measuring involved. All you're doing is transferring this pattern onto your pages. So that's number 10 and cross it off. Okay, what we'll do is we'll fold some pages now. So I'll move my pattern out of the way. Go back to the first page that we folded. So we've got 2 lines, the first and the second line. So what I'm going to do is align my ruler horizontally across that line, across the page, and all the folds are going to be 90-degree folds. So we fold down the page to meet the ruler, take your bone folder and fold the page. You want to get your fold as neat as possible near to the line that you've made the mark. Okay, now the bottom one, we're going to put the ruler above the bottom line and again fold up. Now this time, because we can't do 90 degree, because the fold is too sharp, so we're just going to get it into the corner there and crease it down. Anything that's hanging over the centre of your page, we don't want to just fold that out the way so that it doesn't interfere with your page. And then, so you've got 1 fold, 2 folds, and we're going to just turn it to the side and tuck it under. It's as easy as that, okay? So the next one, for underneath the first mark, fold your page. This time this page will do a 90-degree fold. 1 fold above the bottom mark, 90 degrees, and tuck out the way. That's how simple it's going to be. There's nothing harder than that at all. All you're doing is marking the pages and folding them, transferring the pattern over. Like I say, all the hard work's been done. All you have to do is just concentrate a little bit to get the folding, the marking done, and then you can go along and fold. Some people like to mark the whole book before they start folding. Just depends. At first I would suggest that you do a few and then fold at a time until you get used to it. You can normally do a book in a few hours. The patterns are not complicated. I've tried to make them as easy as possible for you. Now this one down the bottom is very low, so we're just going to take our ruler across. Again, you're not going to be able to do a 90-degree fold on it, but if you just get it to fold right into that mark and just let it go wherever it happens to go, and then take it back if it goes over the centre of your book. And the bottom one is going to be a very small 90-degree fold. Okay. And then push it over to the side.
Okay, so we're going to carry on marking and folding each line of the pattern. So we're just working on the right hand side of the pattern, and we're going to go along and mark every single line and then fold all the lines. So I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll come back when I've finished.
Okay, so we've done the last fold on the first side of the pattern. There are a couple of pages left over. You can either leave those or you can cut them out with a scalpel knife, craft knife. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to close the book and we're just going to check that it's looking okay. I mean, obviously if you've got pages with a fold down here and it doesn't look right how the pattern is, because that you can see the pattern, you know what it should look like. So you've got the AN with the one side of the heart there looking quite good, so we know that everything's okay so far. Okay, we're ready to fold the second half of our pattern now. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our pattern upside down, and our book will be upside down as well. So we're still going to be working the same way from left to right. You'll have noticed that the numbers on the first half of the pattern are upside down, so you'll still be able to see what you're doing. Again, fold the pattern about a third to three-quarters of the way, a quarter of the way in, and we're going to do exactly the same thing, but remembering that the top of the book is now at the bottom, so all your arrows are going to be down at the bottom here. So again, a few pages, tuck it in, line it up at the bottom with the first line, and we're going to mark off number 1, tick it off, turn again, exactly the same as before, except your pattern is now lined up towards you. It's still the top of the book, but it's actually lined up towards you rather than away from you. This is where, if anywhere, you're going to make a mistake because you've been used to lining it up at the top. Okay, so we go along exactly the same as we did before. Marking off however many you want to do. Push it in again, line it up with the next lot of lines. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so you've done your marking again. Like I say, it's exactly the same as the first side. Now, because we're always working from the middle, going from left to right, now your folds are going to come into the middle, so it's going to make it nice and even. So all your folding at the very end will all come towards the middle. So let's just fold this little one over. Okay. That's only a really tiny fold. These patterns will work on any size book. Obviously this is quite a small book, so it's only got a very small fold at the bottom there. If it's on a big book, it'll still work exactly the same, but your folds will be bigger. Okay, so we just go along, like I say, all the folds are still going the same way. And we'll carry on like this until we reach the other end of the pattern, and then we should have something really cool to look at. Okay, so we've just done the last fold of our pattern. So what we need to do now is turn our book back the right way up. And if you close the book together, you should be able to see the word Nan. and that's a really, really nice keepsake and so simple to do. I would suggest when you've finished your book that you put a tight elastic band around it and maybe put it underneath something heavy, a couple of other books, overnight, just to make sure that you really squash the design together. Hope you enjoy making the book, and there'll be plenty more to come from Peerless Designs.